farmer. Mountain back to Atlantic Ocean. Upon me hills to book country. To educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah. Focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another section of Focus on Liberia. I am your co-host, Gabriel Carter. In the studio with me today, I have Alex, Cuffy, and Jimmy. We are your regular hosts on the show here, and today we want to talk about politics meets economics, and this is in relation to the endorsement as it leads to November 14 presidential runoff. So we want to talk about the political side of it, but also merge that with the economic side. What does that mean? What does you know the various endorsement mean for each political candidate? And I think if you have been following the news, I think one of the most talked about endorsement was that of the CPP and the noise that surrounds that. But we want to peel back the noise and look at it from a fundamental standpoint in terms of what it means for each political party. But most importantly, as we would like to talk about on this show, what it means for the economics of Liberia. What does it mean for your pockets, regardless of which candidate comes to power? What is that going to mean for your pocket? What are your pockets going to ball, or I mean, you just have to count your World Cup rest for yourself. So that's all we're here to talk about. And thank you for joining us. Share the show wherever you are and bring your comments, your opinion, and most importantly, as we always like to say, bring your perspective, because that's the most important thing. Alex, Jimmy, guys, welcome.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Gabriel.
Yeah.
And hello to you too, Alex. There have been several endorsements, and how do we interpret them, and how effective will they be? I think there's a lot for us to discuss, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Alex.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Jimm, for coming on. Let me greet everybody in the audience. Hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. those who are listening now and those who are listening later on. Yes, we're about to talk about endorsement mainly because politics and economics and business and finance, they all go together. In Liberia, if we don't get our politics straight, we don't get our economy straight.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get our finance and the businesses straight. Yeah. Our country go uphill or go downhill. So we're here to look at the endorsements and see how they factor into our fall match.
Yeah. And so before we jump into it, I want to anyways, we can just get right into it. I was gonna bring out a tabata, but I guess we can do that at the end of the show.
No,
Uh,
man. Hey, let's jump in the Tabata first.
I forgot there was something interesting I wanted to talk about, but I forgot what it is. That tells you I'm getting old. So if
Uh-oh.
you have any tabata, let's talk about it. Um, yeah. So sorry. Do you guys have any tabata you want to talk about that may have been, you know?
Well, let me lead it off. Before we get to those major endorsements,
Mhm.
I don't know what these endorsements what they really mean. And let me go. I heard just the other day
Ah,
that former Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs Formulaire,
yeah,
Formulaire,
yeah,
he endorsed the UP party.
yeah.
And for him, he said that the current administration,
Hmm.
Liberia will be going very far backwards.
Hmm.
You know, if the current administration gets another 6-year term.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was significant because I haven't heard him of late.
Hmm.
And then I hear on the other side, Larry Yankwa, a representative of NIMA, who used to be a critique, is saying that now he's going to endorse the
CDC.
CDC party because he felt that the U-turn that um, President Kuhn, Senator Kuhn and Senator Prince Yomi Johnson did,
Uh-huh.
that the CDC helped their career, and he felt it was showing ingratitude
Hmm.
by going and with the UP.
Yeah.
So, for me, I mean, it's our Liberian politics are very
Confusing.
very
Yeah.
unique
Yeah.
nature. Okay, there, Bima Boye, the one who the lady who won the Nobel Prize with Ellen Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is
Dr.
warning.
Bowie. Right.
Yeah, she is warning that people are
Yeah.
making deals, especially if you mentioned the CDC, making deals with the CDC so they can have certain positions and all of that. And amongst all this, I want to tell you honestly, Gabriel, I don't see Liberia being put first. You know,
Like my Oma say, if you're close to me, I'll carry you on my back. But
yeah,
you
I
know,
don't. So
I may have
when
a
you
request carrying you.
wait, so when you ask the question, what are the economic benefits for Liberia?
mm,
I have to think seriously because it is not apparent
yeah,
that
there's any,
people making these endorsements are in the interest of Liberia.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, thoughts on that?
Yes,
Plead the fifth. Yeah.
my tabata, before I give my thoughts on that, my tabata for the day is the fun that is going on with all the different exchanges about how, polarized and low we've gone.
Hmm.
With all these different exchanges between different people. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to mention names, but there's a whole lot of exchange here out there. People displaying what they did for people, people displaying text messages and
Yeah.
claims and counter claims and the fact that our argument is no longer, or for the most part, not all of it, but for the most part, it has not got, is the objectivity in our talk, in our discussion is diluting and diluting. People are not able to decipher between those, those who support are not able to decipher, differentiate between when they're having an argument between my support for somebody
You're right.
and my objectivity. Everything now has become the side you are on,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
side you support, the political
Yep.
party you support. Everything now has become. Yeah, so to the extent that you're supporting somebody yesterday
Uh huh.
and today now and you said a lot of stuff about this person, and today now you turn around or you supported somebody and you said something against the other side. Now
Right.
you turn around, you're supporting the other side now, so it's, and then with all these people trying to seek relevance now, so as a result, everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people
Hmm.
are discussing and based on the side. So it has become, because I support, say, Wia or Wakai, I lose my, everything is about Wakai, everything is about Wia. And,
Yeah.
there's no objectivity. And
Yeah.
to the extent that even people who listen to other people, they don't even see people who would try to be objective because they
Right.
think that everybody takes sides, so nobody's objective. Everybody
Right.
is, sold out and stuff like that. So that's my tabata, and the exchange has been,
I have
yeah.
I have two thoughts, for one for you and one for Jimmy. First, I will uh, respond to Jimmy Uno Tabata. Um, so and Jimmy, I feel exactly how you feel, and 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 I think maybe I don't want to say that most people that like yourself, who has, you have everything you want, your kids have everything you want, even maybe your grandkids have everything you want. Like at this point in your life, you care less about. It's not about you anymore, right? So every time you look at liberal politics, you say, hey, who's doing anything for the people? You know, who's doing everything, anything for the layman in the country? Because at this point, you're not somebody who say, "Hey, I support this person because, hey, at least if I support them, if they get into power, they can, I can come in and get a job." Those things mean nothing to you. It's just about you. Hey, let's make sure that the average person, the average man, the layman, is going to be better off where he is right now. When he's going to be better off when the next candidate comes to power, right? So that's how you're looking at it, and that's how I wish not just the candidates but also the representatives and everybody else should be looking at it. At the end of the day, where is Liberia going? Now there's two people that you mentioned. One, doc, I don't know if he's a doctor, right? I think I keep hearing this. They say he's a Dr. Fambule or Mr. Fambule. um, when I tell people I read a lot about Liberian history, there's an extensive stuff written about him. I don't know if you guys read it. I won't get into it, but I'll say if you have time, go
That's Dr.
research
H.
on.
Burma, Dr.
y-
H. Burma family.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's a lot of stuff written about him, and I won't want to say it here, but it's what is written about him and what he's saying right now is consistent of who he has been. And before, when I didn't read a lot on Liberia, whether the political history or the economic history, when I see people like that making comments like that, I used to get upset. Hey, why would you stay on the sideline now? And all of a sudden, like you said, you've never heard of him. All of a sudden, he's coming out to pick a side, which he's entitled to do. But then again, the other side of me, after you look at Liberia, you look at where it is, you feel a little bit of empathy for those people in a country where there's no economic activity, no private sector. You are just waiting on the sideline for the next government to tag along and get whatever you want. So you're going to do that and continue to do it, right? So people like that, I don't, the same thing with the other candidate that you mentioned, who instead of saying what we're going to do for Liberia, he's now picking loyalty. Hey, this candidate did something for me, so I have to show my loyalty to him. Instead of saying, does this candidate support the interests of the country and the people of Liberia? So for me, I don't think people fundamentally think in a line that you think and most people think in terms of, does it benefit Liberia, and does it benefit the country? Does it advance any by any means necessary the country at all? So that's the way most people think. And my last talk to Alex, which I think that was the tabata I wanted to bring about. You may not want to mention it, but I don't like to beat around the bush. I think you know this conversation was about uh, Mr. Costa. The the whole live thing that he went on, and people started, now it's like you said, they're all about picking one side, one after the person pick a side and pick a side. Nobody's looking objectively in terms of what does that mean, or whether he's right or he's wrong. Really, if just trying to put everything into perspective. For me, I would say this one thing, and I will land on that. Even we need to be able to listen to people even if they're saying the most outlandish or loudest thing, so long they're willing to have that conversation in a civil way. Because anytime you see somebody upset or angry, we should not just dismiss them. There's a fundamental reason for why they're angry or they're being belligerent or whatever as position they're exhibiting. Fundamentally, from a somebody who can think objectively, is to be able to calm that individual down, listen to them, and see why they're behaving the way they're behaving. Given that we're able to learn from them and understand what they're upset about, and I think that's what we should do with Costa. In as much that I think he's been flip flopping here and there, we need to listen to him. Hey, what is if you want a guy on your side, call him. Hey, what are you upset about? What are you what? And I think everybody who listens to him, that's the way we need to approach him as an individual, objectively, without saying, oh, you're a citizen, or you're picking United Party side. And I don't think we do that. We just pick you, throw you in a bucket, and we leave you there. We just think you pick side, and that's for me. That's what drown the conversation to a level that I wish we can take it from there, bring it to an elevator level in terms of how we reason as a people. So I will leave it on that.
So let me chime in on. Before we get into the meat of the endorsements and stuff like that, let me chime in on what Jimmy was trying to allude to about deals. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before I do that, let me. Emmanuel Jackson wrote, "We've not seen major debates on the issue of the economy since the end of the first round." I'm sure he's referring to Focus on Liberia marketplace output. Yes, we discuss business, economic, finance here, but whilst the election is going on and all that, we just wanted to do a little side thing with the election to be in line with what is going on, especially the politics affect economics, business, and finance. So
Right.
we had to pause a little bit from our traditional show. But we after the election and everything, we will swing back into our normal topics.
Correct.
So, oh, he's okay. He said no. He said he meant from the CDC. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you
Then
say
I
you're
will address
responding
that.
to Jimmy.
Huh?
You say you wanted to add to what Jimmy was saying.
Yeah. So no, I was telling Emmanuel Jackson. Yeah, we'll come to that comment he made. If none, he made it clear. I've watched Liberian politics from 2005. We have every time we have 20 or 21 candidates in a race. It is seen that a lot of those candidates, some of those candidates are in the race for. A lot of the candidates that are down the line, they are in the race for different reasons. Some of them are in the race knowing that there almost always will be a second round. And in the second round, they will cut these different deals. Some of them are in it for themselves.
Right.
Some people will want to say, okay, I will be in the politics to be consistent and hope that at some point, I will gain that traction, I will gain that name recognition, and I will run. But at the end of the day, a lot of these people are in it so that they support this side, and hopefully this side, when they get something out of a job or, they make some deals. So for a lot of the candidates, that has been the issue. That has been the thing that has come to play. It is also noted that some people are getting some funding from somewhere. They are getting some funding from international business people or certain people, and they got to show. They got to show up. And once they show up, they definitely will get some support from some donors or finance or business people who are supporting them for different reasons. But this particular election is so unique with the type of the polarization and the type of endorsement that is kind of deals that are going on. People talking about money, people cutting all kinds of deals, and it's just getting so pervasive in this particular 2023 elections, unlike 2005, 2011, or 2017. It's getting it's just getting out of hand a little bit. So again, let's zoom on the different types of endorsement.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's do that. So recently, I know you guys have been following both the CDC and Unity Party both met with Mr. Cummins at his residence, um, and all we saw was photos. We didn't know what was discussed there. I think recently as well, Mr. Cummins also came out and wrote a letter, you know, saying that when he met with those individual, he has some proposal that each needed to consider. Um, and after that, there was also an endorsement made by the CPP. However, Mr. Cummins remained neutral, right? And this is what we want to talk about. That's one of the endorsements we want to talk about. The, you know, other political party, the CDC and Unity Party also met with uh, Mr. Appleton, who actually is supposed to have 2.6% of the vote in the first runoff. But somehow the bulk of the attention seems to be
I think
placed on Mr.
2.2, eh?
Cummings. Huh? 2 point, yeah,
No,
2.2, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, 2.2, but it was at 2%, right? So after that decision that the CPP endorsed the CDC, and Mr. Cummins actually end up staying neutral, has been this massive backlash as to why Mr. Cummins will remain neutral and why the CPP will endorse CDC. So, and this is what we want to let's dive into that. What
Yeah.
was you guys' take on that whole process regarding that?
Let me take a stab at it.
Right.
If Cummings wants to remain neutral,
Mhm.
I believe it is in his best interest to come forth
Mhm.
and say exactly why he's being neutral.
Mhm.
He should state where his convictions are
Mhm.
and why he could not support either candidate.
Yes.
I think that is very important than just not saying anything at all.
Yeah.
We understand that the party has gone, the executive members of the party has gone and endorsed
CDC.
CDC.
Yeah.
I think that is their right.
Right.
But if he is going to remain neutral, I'm not sure if he is, but if he's going to remain, he should come out and state why he's being neutral. What is it in the UP that he was once part of in a collaboration that he today will not support them? What
Yeah.
does he see?
Yeah.
You see, by he telling that, then he's also informing the Liberian public from his standpoint what he sees. And what is it about the CDC, the incumbent government, that he cannot support? This informs the Liberian public how they might vote, because he, being one of the featured candidates in the last elections, it may be very impactful, just his opinion and why he has his reservations, even though he's not in the runoff. But the fact that why is he holding certain reservations is important. And I think that it would behoove him in his political career to make a statement as to if he even is going to be neutral. Why is he remaining neutral? What are the reasons supporting this decision? What do we need to be aware of? And I don't. Some people claim that being neutral is not making a statement, but this is what I'm saying. It can be a statement if he allows it to. Let the people know why you wouldn't support either group party. Let them know. Let them understand where your understanding and your convictions are.
Absolutely. Alex.
Yeah, Gabriel. First of all, Flomo Livingston has a question for you. He said, if you don't see these two parties, why CPP ANC endorse CDC?
What you said?
I'm trying to understand the question.
So my question to Mr. Palmer, if you don't see this two party, I don't understand what you mean. If you don't see these two parties, why
maybe he's saying if you don't see the two parties, the ANC, the CDC and the UP, why ANC choose? I don't know what he's talking about.
Mr. Livingston, if you're listening, please clarify your question.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Flomo, please rephrase your question so we can address it. We don't understand it.
Okay. Alex.
Yeah, like what Emmanuel Jackson was saying, and now I understand the question. And say, yes, it's true. Throughout these elections, especially these elections were not mostly about the issues, right? They were not about. 2017, we saw that debates were hosted, and key candidates did not attend the debates. And this 2023, it was worse. That the major guys did not go. The CDC, the UP, the ANC, they all did not go, right? So the major guys did not go. The Appeton and the other people, the Brown and those guys, they went for those debates. So it's not even the first round. It's not being about the issue. Now the second round is being all about endorsement and fight and protect your vote and the scare tactics and the propaganda, and so it's not being about the issues. It's being one fight for voters after the other. One party is trying to run propaganda and scare people away so that there will be less of the people in the opposition. The opposition on the other side are trying to fight and kind of dispel the propaganda. So and everybody's going after who is going to endorse, right? So looking at the endorsement, for me, there are some key endorsements that I saw that I stated when we talked about this last Saturday. Okay, ACOB was one key endorsement that I saw, but again, the very people who go to endorse, the head is going one side, and some of the body parts are going one side. They're not going as one unit.
Yeah.
Right. ACOB, the leadership went to Unity Party, and some splinter groups going to CDC. Then one group, the Standard Bearer is going one side, the Vice Standard Bearer is going another side, and the parties are saying no, we want to do our own thing. So it's been all over the place. So it seems as though we are living up to the thing that these political parties, especially the ones other than Unity Party and CDC, they're not institutions. They're just in this thing for something else, right? So then there comes ANC. And there's a reason why I continue to say it is ANC. I don't see it as I thought that the ANC continued to make mistake over one mistake after the other, including this endorsement mistake, right?
Mm.
I see two parties, like whether it's the United States of America, Democrats and Republican, whether it's Ghana, CPP and NPP and NDC, whether it's Nigeria, which has been less legislated, but so it's Liberia, the two parties that are showing case, that are showing strength from election to election, right? But at some point there will be a void created. Maybe after this 2023 election, one party that loses could go downhill. That's where I saw that the ANC could be the third party and could be the alternative, right? To be the force. But one thing after the other, you join this group, you want to stand on their shoulder and say their arms stink, and then it backfires and all kinds of stuff happen. And now we got to this point, another party, you go as coalition, the CDC, the CPP, that initially when the CPP, the idea was hatched, the Liberian people were happy that at least we have the parties coming together. And then when they disengaged, it became a disappointment to the Liberian people.
Mm-hmm.
So that, for me, that CPP name was dead in the minds of the people already, because the people were disappointed at the fact that the people could not combine under the banner of CPP. So my question is, why use a trademark that is bad? Why use a name that has turned bad in the minds of the people? Stick with your ANC and move forward. Then come the endorsement. We saw Mr. Cummings being visited by, as Gabriel said, being visited by both parties, the CDC and the Unity Party.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Mr. Cummings giving a list of what item as his platform to these guys to sort of implement. So people had to agree that, oh, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. Sometimes I ask myself, suppose both parties says, yes, we will do all. Even though there's not a guarantee that they'll do it when they win. But just in case they say, yes, they will do it. Who do you choose? Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. Cummings turned around and issued a statement that, my executive committee met and decided to endorse the CDC, but I am staying away. To me, again, that's going down, the slippery slope.
Yeah.
Right. In my view, you either support opposition or you abstain as a party, because you did not.
Why you can't do the other? Why can't you support the ruling?
Because you were already in the opposition and you criticized the ruling establishment for all these years.
Right.
So if you criticize them for all these years, then what has changed?
Right.
So if
could that be because there was some commitment made by the ruling party that he could? Do you think the ruling party could not make those commitments, those deliverables that he gave him, and the ruling party make commitment to him saying that, hey, we're going to do this thing, and that could actually change his mind to support them?
Well, you see,
Or do you think his view? So what I'm trying to say is that you support the current situation until the fact changes, and when the fact change in that instance, your views and your perspective should also change. So in as much that he supported them, he criticized them. Now, if he gave them deliverables, say this is what I want, and they make commitment to them, given that, it should also change his perspective and his belief to say, okay, now I can support these people. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, Len, your thought.
Gabriel, people, you get employed through your resume, right? based on a historical track that you've established in your resume. You get employed based on a background check, right? Your
Right.
past background check, right? If
Yep.
you have something derogatory, you probably will not get that job,
Mhm.
right? So, what tells somebody now that you get to this finish line, you get this derogatory background check coming, your resume is cracking.
Yeah.
You're telling what color lies on your resume. How do you get employed? Do you get employed by saying, "Oh yeah, I will do this. I will promise. I will do this. I will do that"? We do that on track record. The beauty establishment has been known for not keeping
Right.
its word,
Right.
including to the coalition members, and that is why some of them pull away. The MPP and the LPDP. That is why Tyler pulled away. That is why Barney and all these other guys are pulling away, and other people, right? So how can you come now and say these guys that you've criticized all along, they are not a new kid on the block? Now, if you feed something against the party
Mhm.
for which you are upset, which I understand, then that's the more reason why you should have abstained
Correct.
or continue supporting the opposition,
Yeah.
right? If you
Okay.
want to be in the opposition, let bygone be bygone. Let's move with the opposition.
Okay.
So I don't think Mr. Cummings showed leadership in this instance, because when the party leader moves with them, it draws in. That's why you saw that during the endorsement. Did you see George Weah there? George Weah was not there because it's leader to leader. The leader is not there. Why am I going there? So and then the leader left the country as a head. So, like Jimmy said, what statement? Then he put up a statement talking about change. So, are you going to ensure change as of 2029? In case you want to, just in case you want to run, you 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 let your party down, to so to say, because your party executive committee, now, including the VSB, the Vice Senator Barrow, goes to support the party, and you are out. How do you bring the unit back together again?
Okay. So let me and this is my take on the whole scenario. So as you said, you brought up the whole aspect of you employ people based on the history, right? Which is whether you go for a job anywhere or you go apply for a loan anywhere, to look at your credit history. I agree with you. And in in defense of, I will hopefully I can take these one. I'll probably do that in less than 2 minutes or so. In defense of Mr. Cummings being neutral, I think fundamentally, whether those guys met with him or not, if he had remained neutral, whether they met with him or not, that would have been justified. And here's why. Few months leading to the election, the United Party, the CDC, colluded and brought frivolous charges against this guy. Said that he tampered with documents. They even brought the old man as a state witness. And granted, all of these was lies. This is just people like, hey, I feel threatened by you, so I go team up with Jimmy to say, let's take Alex out. How we're gonna take him out? Let's bring charges against him. And initially, when he was saying that these were just frivolous charges, nobody believed him. But guess what? The evidence started coming out. They started outing each other. So fast forward a few months later, we are to the runoff, and now you expect this man to now drop those incidents that's in the back of his mind, that these people colluded knowingly, and they went to court. They took the oath that they were telling the truth in court. And now you expect now these guys to this Mr. Cummings to now come and say, "Oh, I'm gonna so." If I were him, whether they came to my house or not, I would have abstained from it, because these are people. The man took 40 years to build his reputation, and you brought up these frivolous charges. I understand if you did something and I say, bingo, I've been wanting to take this guy down. I will use this exact mistake he made to get to him. But you did nothing at all. And I'll go team up with Jimmy and I just come bring these cases against you. I would so for him being it's I think it shows empathy on his side to even entertain those people in his house. I wouldn't even allow those people in my house because if you are capable, right? If we are capable of doing that, you should not even allow us to do that. To even come near you, we can keep it cordial without even you me entertaining your thoughts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
Give it to a point. That's why I said if you feel that these guys did something vexing to you, obviously I don't see you how you will support them. But then you were in opposition, you criticized this other group for all these years. That is why it was safer to abstain.
right. So here's my
The
other
whole group, not just one side going the other way.
take on that. So fast forward, he went and entertained them, and you and I both know he made deliverables to them. Hey, this is what I want. This is what I want. Now, I could be opposing you to a point, but if I make proposition to you and you say it's like you're talking to, I'm not saying those guys are a child. It's like you been a kid that been hard headed long enough. You wake up early in the morning, you talk to them, and some reason they said they're going to change. The way you approach now, wait, the way you approach that child from there is going to be different because you have that expectation now that something is
Mhm.
going to change, right?
Yeah.
Now, if that child now goes from what you are seeing after that initial conversation where they told you that they will change
Mhm.
and they continue to do the same thing, you feel the same obligation to the same level of reaction you've been given to resume that same
So my
reaction,
question,
right?
my question then is, if that is the case, if the guy promised that he would change, and you see truthfulness or change in his face, even though it has not been done, then why did the body go and the head left back?
That's my next point here. And for me, and this go to this fundamental belief that just because you're married, you're in a house,
Mhm.
right? You're the head of the household. That does not mean every decision you make your wife will support it. That doesn't mean she agree with it, right? And if she doesn't agree with it, that doesn't mean you will force her to go with it, right? The reason being because she has her free will. You will talk it out and understand from the reason why she doesn't want to go on with that decision. Now, will she support you in that? Of course she will. But does that mean she agree with it? No. That's because with the free will we have, just because Mr. Cummings is supporting
So and she will show up with you, and she will
wait,
show up with you, even though
let
she
me
disagree, but she has to support you, so she will show up with you, right?
let me land my thought.
All
Right?
right.
Just because Mr. Cummings is deciding to remain neutral doesn't mean he has to force the other people. Now, yes, that's the coalition, but in that coalition, there's a separate party. Those are two separate parties. Just because I decide to remain neutral does not necessarily mean I have to force this other party that has its own operating agreement and entity within itself that is part of this coalition to follow my decision. Yes, this is a coalition. And he also support that to say, hey, we met with an executive committee, right? The executive committee decide what they want to do. For me, fundamentally, this is what I'm doing. However, I'm going to allow them to exercise their own right given to them, which is their own free will to do what they want to do. That does not mean he doesn't show leadership or whatever. Like people have to be able to devoid what leadership is from allowing people to do what is exercising their own free will. This you can't force people to do things, even if he wanted to. He couldn't do that. And these are separate parties within the CDC, I mean the CPP. Right. Now, let's say if there was the ANC within itself that went and endorsed, the CDC, and he himself, why being the leader of the ANC, remain neutral. Trust me, I would nail him to the cross before the people even scream, Hosanna, Hosanna. Seriously. So that's my thought on that, and I will leave it on that. And hey, I could admit to that. I will admit to that. Is a little biased, but I think I put a little bit of bias aside and look at this thing from an objective standpoint. So
Yeah, Jimmy, do you have something to chime in? We can look at some of the comments.
No, it's not only the CPP. I saw this. I see this also with Alcup. You saw Alcup, the leadership, go ahead and endorse the UP,
that
but the
exactly,
vice president, the vice
exactly.
leadership, and claiming that the rest of the party, the majority of the party is with him. That was his claim when he was endorsing CDC. So what is definitely visible here is we are very, very divided.
Thank you.
Yep.
It is clear, even within the party, within families, we are right down the middle divided. And what I'm looking at, if you ask, what needs to happen if you are a people so intrinsically divided like this? What needs to happen after this election? We need to come together and so we can work toward a goal. And whosoever win, they have a lot of patching up to do. We have to bring Liberian people back under one umbrella, aiming for the same goals. So um, we don't see enough of what these individuals plan to do. Since the runoff, I haven't heard of, look, after this election, we're going to do this, 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 and this. I haven't heard this. I've only heard of people trying to persuade, those who were not in their camp to come over, but not statements to tell us this is what you'll do after this election. And it's unfortunate because for me, that what will get my vote. When I hear that you will do X amount of things after the elections,
Exactly.
that is what's going to get me to decide now. But we are completely divided, and we have a very uphill task after this election, so we can lift ourselves, from the economic disparity we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
Um, I also know that the our friends and supporters are looking keenly at these elections,
Mhm.
and it will have an impact either way it goes. So we're a divided people, but we have to come together. That needs to be in the back of all of our minds. We have to come together.
Right.
So Livingston clarified his question. He said, I mean, if the two parties don't have economic plan for the country, why CPP ANC endorse CDC? So it's against those same lines that
Okay. Where is it? Let me
um
see if I
we
can
were
bring
talking
this up.
about that. I mean, if I mean
Yeah.
CPP
Uh,
thought that they had the ANC thought that they had a better economic plan. Um, so why endorse CDC if you had a better economic plan than the ruling establishment? So again, um,
So for me, I think I said this earlier, right? Um, if you, so this is
yeah, that
this
question
is
was to you, Ikara. So go ahead.
right. So this is the runoff. Now I guess we all saw what happened. They met with him, and for him, he gave the well, not just Mr. Cummings. The party, the CPP gave proposal to both parties, right?
Mhm.
And in now, I think Jimmy alluded to this. What I'm about to say. If Mr. Cummings felt that those proposals that he gave to both parties, that neither of those parties were going to do at least one or two, three items or any other thing on there, I think in his absentia or abstaining from endorsing any of them, he's supposed to make a statement why he decided to remain neutral. As I said, I think Jimmy said this earlier. It would have kind of ease out some of these quarreling that we see on social media. It also would have painted in terms of a good narrative in terms of where he stands, why he decided to remain neutral. But also to back up what I said earlier, I don't think he should have endorsed anybody just from the beginning. But I think I would say this one last thing and I learn same thing I said to you, Alex. If you are, which we all been doing. We've been in the opposition criticizing CDC, right? And in the runoff, you met with them and they said they're going, let's say you give them your proposal and they said they're going to do X, Y, and Z from that proposal to ensure that, you know, there's some level of stability in the country, security in the country. I think one of the things he mentioned in that, you guys can keep me honest here if I'm wrong, then it is incumbent upon you, even though you're criticizing, which are some of the things you're criticizing, the person saying he's going to do it, it is incumbent upon you as a wise person to change now your mind as to how you view this person. Now, does that mean they're going to do it? But it's so long that they give you commitment, you have to change your mind about that. You can't keep saying, "Oh, because you've been you're behaving this way, and I gave you this proposal, and you say this, I'm not going to." That's what wisdom is. You change your mind, you change the fact as you become privy to information. It changed the facts of how you approach ideas and stuff. So I think for him, if he was able to do that, and he presented those proposal to them, and neither of them decided that they wanted to do anything, he has the right to 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 remain neutral. Now, as far as the CPP going to endorse CDC, I think one thing we keep missing up here is that there's two parties within the CPP. There's the Liberty Party, and ANC, right? These are entity by themselves, right? So if he's abstaining, he cannot tell the rest of them to say, hey, because I'm doing this, you have to do that. That organization within itself has its own board of directors. They're going to tell them what to do as well. And I think that's what the executive committee was able to do. So,
All right, Gabriel.
I get on that.
As the Liberian people say, all I wanted a vla. Let's go. I suggest that we go through the comments one by one. Let's take notes. And
okay.
Then we can come back, starting from Emmanuel Sacco. Let's go down.
Emmanuel Sacco.
The relevant ones now. Don't
okay.
just put
so
anything.
You tell me which one you want to bring up.
Yeah, the relevant ones going down. Okay. Yeah, I will point at them as we go along, right?
So Sacco said election is nothing else but about Jesus Christ, about popularity plus the additional voters. So looking at the previous result, I think unity up. I think he meant up endorsement agreement is it's a bit higher. If she can maintain her previous result of the first round, she may be victorious if they can get the total voters of ALCOP endorsement agreement, etc., etc.
Gabriel, you stayed on America too much, so you can't read like bro right.
That's a lot of runoff. Like I expect periods in certain places, but hey,
I'm just joking.
I'm sure you understand it.
I'm just joking, but I could read it. I could read it better than you.
Go ahead, please do.
I'm just kidding. But
you want. I think I was confused, so you might want to read it over.
Yeah, let me read it, and then I will point out the next one. I got it lined up. The next one will be from Emmanuel Jackson, but let me read it. Election is nothing else but about popularity plus additional voters. So looking at the previous result, I think UP endorsement agreement is a bit higher level if she can maintain her previous. So all he's trying to say is, they have this. All I see it to be. Let me just explain it so we can move on. Right. Okay, so they won 43%, right? And the other people, the other 20%, the other I think it was 12%. The other 12% did not vote for CDC. They voted for opposition. So if they can get some endorsement from the other side and up their percentage maybe by another 5% or 6%, they can win. That's what he meant to say. So let's go to Emmanuel Jackson.
Yeah, I was. Emmanuel,
it was very obvious.
Okay, so
CPP.
Yeah, okay. Let me bring this up.
It was very obvious CPP was going to endorse CDC in the second round, especially the split up of group UP and ANC. The main concern: will the endorsement attract votes to either party? The Liberian economy needs new calibration. Go to the next one. Jump over go to JG Toba.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
but I don't. If I were to comment on Emmanuel, why did
Go
you
ahead.
say it was obvious, Emmanuel? What was it that led you to think the CPP? Okay, for instance, there is the common notion that ANC or the members of the coalition felt betrayed when the ANC leader was accused and had to go to trial. So there was some bad blood there, given what happened. But here is where I'm coming from. If this general idea of the CPP, the things that came together on to change the trajectory of the country, to stop corruption, to stop the various things that they saw wrong was going on. If that was their motivation, then you can't say, well, because you did me bad, but I'm not going to say what we came together to do is wrong. Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, you did me bad. You gave me dirty away. You put me dirty away. But I still believe in the things we came together for, and that is what I support. So, if we're going to continually put personal things in front of the nation, and this is what I'm saying, Liberia is not at heart here. Liberia is not at heart. If I'm going to put these personal grievances, and they're genuine grievances, but if I'm going to put these personal grievances before Liberia, then where are we going to go? Now, unless you believe that the UP is not authentically geared toward changing Liberia, that it was all a facade, that it was a make believe, then you also have to state that. See, the reason why we're not supporting UP, because we know now that they were not genuine to the purpose we came together. You see, just leaving it like this it doesn't give the voters or the supporters enough understanding of what was going on, throughout the whole campaign. And I think it's unfair to all the voters and the supporters. I think there should have been some strong statements coming out revealing why this rift is taking place and what is the reason for the decisions they are taking. You know, as it stands, people don't know what to think.
Let's move to J.G. Toba. It is Mr. Alex B. Cummings' constitutional right to participate in elections or remain neutral. However, the opposition does not believe in the WIA regime, so ABC shouldn't be silent now. Okay. The next one would be Mr. Flomo Livingstone. He says Mr. Cummings' political career is over in Liberia. Jump over the other ones, then go to Mr. Flomo Livingstone. Mr. Cummings' political career. Okay, so I already read that. He said we're coming on that, except
Which one?
Gabriel
Which
wants to
one were
go.
you referring to?
No, he says Mr. Cummings' political career is over, even though he spelled it a career.
Where
But
is it? Where is that one?
after the one you just put up,
Okay.
after JG, you just go to there are a few people down, 2 person down. The next after JG Toba.
I said JG Tuba. All right. Is that from the same guy?
From Flomo Livingstone.
I don't see anything here.
Okay, let me read it. He said
Okay.
Mr. Cummings' political career is over in Liberia. Then Flomo Livingstone also states that CDC government don't keep promises. Then you come to Saye Tiedube Wure.
Jesus.
UP under JNB being an opposition is in no way better than the CDC. So don't expect coming to support them, Mr. Speaker. So
Okay, so this is okay. I see what you said.
yeah.
Okay. Any other
So
comments you want?
Gabriel, you just go down, forgetting about the ones that say, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker," or "Thank you, this." Just go to the ones that make
Okay.
comments. Just go down the line. Okay. So UP under JNB has been an opposition is in no way better than the CDC. So don't expect Cummings to support them. So yeah, so we're all
Right.
talking the same thing.
Right. So here's another one.
CPP's endorsement of the ruling party suggests that there was no reason why they participated in the elections. CPP as an opposition party has been very critical of the government performance and participated in the election with the mindset to unseat the current government. What has changed in the few weeks after the first round? Next one, JG Towa. He said, "No, Gabriel," with four exclamation mark. No guarantees, Gabriel. Your analysis is not fruit bearing and neither genuine in any political marriage. It is a payback from ABC, CPP, ANC.
I'll respond to that. I don't know what he's referring to, but okay. Let's go to the next one.
No, I think he was talking about, before I read that one, I think he was talking about the fact that you say that they presented the things that they presented to CDC, and CDC showed them that they will make a change. So there was, that's why he said there's no guarantee.
All right.
So
Okay.
Emmanuel Jackson writes, "It's deja vu from 2017. A lot of endorsement went to CDC. At the end, they didn't get any benefit from the CDC. It's up to the voters to read the tea leaf of these political parties and vote for the best party, initiating policies for improvement in the political economy. Very essential starting 2024 as we are about to face global recession." Baku.
Okay. Let me know which one you guys want to respond to. He said,
Let the truth be told, Cummings lacks leadership. ANC folks can't change the goalposts, okay? Then the next one. "My friend, this is a different time and season. The opposition messed up and you know that. Don't play a blind eye on it. It's a win for we are and the CDC, period." Okay. Somebody's a staunch supporter of CDC here. Gabriel, political animosity is very dangerous for the trajectories we want to build in Liberia. Political stability grows the economy, whereas economic growth influences politics. Next. So why CPP ANC had a tire suffering rally in the first place? So Liberian people are not suffering now?
I will, what is it? Flomo
Flo
Livingstone.
Livingstone, yeah.
Flomo, I'll respond to that.
It
Bartolomeo.
is, oh
Wow.
yeah, Bartolomeo in innocent proposal Vapon. What? It's so very hard to defend or propagate for the CDC. And so people who have some sense of integrity are even stuttering to defend the decision of the position CPP took and also trying to excuse ABC. The Liberian people spoke on the 10th of October that we are or JMB become the president by giving the two parties 87% out of the 100%. I will run it up to 88. So they are now fighting over the 13%. And from the look of things, it doesn't appear to be going the UP way. Let's be frank about this. All
I
right.
think this is a significant statement by Saye Tietugwe.
Mhm.
I think this is
Wow,
significant.
I'm amazed how you pronounce that name so perfectly.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
Amazing.
I got all kind of roots. But here we go. um, they're fighting for 13% now, right? It's
Yep.
already divided.
yeah,
Unless given
12.7%.
that what they already achieved, they were those voters they got, they would keep them.
Mhm.
So now it's those other undecided and those ones who voted for other people. So which amounts to about 13%.
Mhm.
When you look at it, and this is a good thing for you, Mr. Analytical Alex. Do you think incumbent power only needs 13% to the majority of this 13%? That's all they need. With all the power and the leverage and advantage they have, is it not likely that they will get that? That's what Dubé is saying here.
Hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
not likely they would get it?
That's why he's saying you're right. All right. Let's
He says he
Alex, you
says
want to
from
answer that question?
he says from the look of things, it doesn't appear to be going the UP way. Yeah, you can only read meaning into what he's trying to say.
Right.
Another school of thought could say that is since he made a statement that way towards the CDC, another school of thought could say that the 12% that we're talking, the 13% that he refers to here, voted against Weir, right? They voted for the opposition.
No, that
Like,
was a left. That was a left out. 43 and 43 comes to what? About 86, 87%.
yeah,
Only
the point and the point.
13% is out. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah, he's talking about the 43 point some, I think 8, and then 43.4 for
Yeah. So
43.8
you get
for,
about
yeah. So he adds it
13%
on the
left.
it. So the 13% he's talking about, the
Right.
13%, that's what I'm saying. Yes, his point is, and your support to the point is well taken. But on the flip side, another school of thought is saying that the 13% voted opposition. So it's
Mm.
more likely opposition will go opposition. So it's
Mm.
therefore it's more likely that a good man, but again, some of those people might go the ruling party. But
Hmm.
because they had a strong feeling that the opposition is the way to go, that's why they voted for opposition parties. So
Hmm.
therefore, it is likely that majority of that 13% may go to may stick with the opposition.
Right.
Mm.
What's
That's
that?
one way of looking at it.
So, but tell me again, he said, what does CPP expect CDC to have said towards their demands? No. Of course, they will say yes, but deep down, they know they will not. Everybody keeps saying it that these people will just um, play along without doing what they said they're going to do. I guess.
Labrie was Labrie was taking seriously the priority of economic development planning of the country. The wars in Ukraine and the Middle East at end, the international community would divide meaningful donor support for reconstruction of those economies. Liberia might likely not attract huge donor support for national budget supplements. Yeah, but it's partly true with except Gabriel wants to look at that one before we move to the next comment. Because
Yeah,
this is far from election to me.
yeah, I agree. I agree with him, and I think maybe that was the next segue we're supposed to get into. But after that, I agree with him, and the reason being, uh, we depend on the international community, specifically the U.S. But like you said, in Ukraine, they've already committed, I think, 400 billion to reconstruct Ukraine based on the war that was already started. A reconstruction bank has already been created to build Ukraine. There's also now the ongoing war in Israel, which after those damages and stuff, there's support. We're already pledging billions and billions and billions towards them. And after that war, there's always also going to be. So at the end, what you want to look at is, hey, on this whole big chessboard, what are you? what do you fit in? What do you fit in the region? As I was arguing with somebody earlier, we where we used to be in the 80s and 60s in terms of our strategic advantage for which we commanded so much international aid, we're not that anymore. We're not even the major command center for the US in the region. There's this country in South Africa, I think Mozambique, or the other ones right next to South Africa, that is, they have better technology than we do. They're better country than we are. So that's, you got to look at that. Like the strategic opportunity we had for which we commanded all those resources are not there anymore. The mega tower that used to be the key monitoring in a region, we don't have that anymore. We're just, like a pawn on the chessboard. So as you look at all of this in a bigger landscape, that's one of the things we have to be looking at. When all of this noise, political noise we're making, when it fades into the limelight, the economic reality will emerge, and we will be faced with this eventually. So we'll get into that later. Hopefully we'll
Yeah,
have
but
time.
Gabriel, before you move forward, you're quite correct, because now there's competition. There's the space is so crowded
Hmm.
that you're right that bigger countries, bigger economies will be looking at repairing the damages all over the place, especially
Hmm.
in America, will be, so, but because of the high competition, for in the case of Liberia, if I will narrow it down to Liberia, Liberia has to, whether Liberia has all the resources or whatever, but you have to make, Liberia has to be attractive, especially the government has to have, the government itself has to turn things around so that it encourages the big brother United States of America to continue to support and continue to turn things around locally, that there will be, private sector led, there will be more private sector coming to the country, tourism industry will open up. We could ramp up, domestic revenue generation and make ourselves attractive out there to our development partners. Now, we're not just there, be seen as corrupt set of people, and then so therefore naturally they will pull back anyway. There will be donor fatigue, there will be this fatigue, there will be that fatigue,
Right.
budget support fatigue, like Emmanuel is saying, that budget supplements will not be coming in there. They will be dropping 5 million here, 10 million here, but those big money, the 500 million things will not be coming in.
Nope.
So it takes a government to turn things around and to be attractive. It took people who knows, to have to walk the walk and talk the talk, to be able to, battle with those boys on the hill, or something like that. So again,
Yeah.
let's move to the comment. I think Lydia, must Cummings always run away from critical decisions? It tells me clearly if he is made president, Liberia will crumble because he doesn't see any good in any of his colleagues. Will he take people from heaven to serve in his government? Let's move on. We'll address that. I think we've
That's
battled
a
that one already.
that's a great comment.
If those are the good comments, pray for the bad ones. Oh my. Let's move on. I don't know what he's talking about. Remember the talk of war between Costa, United Party, and the ANC. Cummings in quote and literally dismantling the CPP for Bwaka's support only. All right. You're coming back to your lover boy, Gabriel.
All right. So I know you guys want to keep going here. There's a lot.
Yeah, the comments are almost
Okay.
they're still
There is
coming.
one. It
So
said
the person was
everyone.
talking about, when you're
Everyone.
naming countries, the person was talking about Lesotho, Botswana, and Angola.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Somebody know the geography better than I do.
But let's go to Flomo. Let's go to Flomo Livingstone. Let's jump over the two and go to Flomo Livingstone quickly. It says CDC can win this runoff election. Per the European Union observers, CDC spent close to 50 million in state resources and wasn't able to win by a wide margin. All right. So if you click on fakes, he's talking about Lesotho, just to highlight his point.
Yeah. Fixed. Thank you. That's exactly what I mean. Those countries, they have major U.S. military bases there, so that's where the attention is. Um, so this is Johnny. uh, what is it? Johnny Johnson.
Let's do
Uh,
these last three quickly, then we'll move on. Do you understand how many times Liberia rebuilt Lebanon? Hmm. At least 5 times through our natural resources being stolen by people like Goldfinger and other unscrupulous businessmen taking the go. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a
Yep.
whole topic for another
That's a
day,
whole
sir.
topic by itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would take note of that. We'll actually make that a topic on the whole Saturday.
Saya is very busy today, though.
I visit today.
Brother
Thank you.
Gabriel, you think so that the 13% will go to the opposition? I don't see that. Okay. I think he's making the same point.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
talking about voters were trucked from one location to the other. I'm not convinced that the opposition is prepared to truck those voters back due to money, and those aspirants that didn't win won't want to take anyone back to say the ones that won. Another thing is UP only won 11 representative seats in the entire country. I could say more and more. Yeah, let me comment on that whole voter trucking before. We had an argument about voter trucking the last time, and the voter trucking affects everybody because the people that were trucked, so to speak, the people that were trucked, they were trucked by representative candidates. They were trucked by senatorial candidates, right? For example, I'm not saying that, but let's assume voters were trucked to Magibi. United Party won Magibi. CDC lost Magibi. So are you saying that all those voters voted for Unity Party, or because the CDC candidate won as in a senatorial race? So let's assume that he trucked them. So it's neither here nor there with this voter trucking as a point of support that it's a given that these guys that were trucked did vote for Unity Party, so therefore Unity Party will lost that section of the vote. And how many are those that were trucked, by the way? So that other argument, I don't know, how far it's going. But let's go down to the economic issues. Johnny Johnson, oh no, we're finished with that one. We're finished with Saye. Okay.
I think we should go on, move on to the next.
Let's go to Johnny Johnson. He said Liberia has 16 locally grown indigenous species of rice, homegrown, but now import 98% of rice from USA, India, Vietnam, etc.
Man,
This is madness.
I love it.
This madness has to cease. Our jungle is best on planet Earth.
I love it. You have any thoughts on that? Because I have a response to that.
Yeah, you can respond to that. Then,
Jimmy, I know you've been quiet for a while.
This is one of the most disheartening things about us. The fact that we cannot do for ourselves. And it has been a long time since we've seen this trend change. I remember during Toba time, that was the main goal of the Toba administration, to be able to be self-sufficient in rice.
Yeah.
To be able to produce more things in Liberia. We had shoe factory, we had plastic factory, we were producing matches, we were producing everything. Now we import everything.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't have the ability to do it, but we need the leadership to do it. And this is what's been missing since then. So I hope we see this soon.
Yeah, and sometimes I will be very short on this. And Mr. Johnson, thank you for bringing this up. This is something seriously that we need to pay attention to as a country, because if we don't pay attention to that, the fact that we can feed ourselves, especially with the rice, where rice is the biggest, is the staple food of our Liberia, we will go in a wayside of the likes of Haiti, which is where we are right now. I think you said we import 98% of the consumption of rice. That's why Haiti is. Haiti used to produce their own rice in the country until they made agreement with the U.S. to bring rice subsidies, which end up putting embargo on their rice. They couldn't export it, so that allowed the U.S. to dump rice in the country. So right now, the same predicament that we're in that you highlighted here is what Haiti is in. Now, Jimmy said exactly when we were supposed to solve that problem in the 80s on the Tarbert. There was $434 million commitment through, I think, a 6 years or 5 year period. Half of that, a percentage of that, was geared to build the famous rice plant in Lofa. That money just disappeared. The rice was given to people on credit. They never pay back. That money went out and we never recover from that. Fast forward, we get into war and we fell into the same trap that Haiti fell in, to which right now we're importing 89, 70, 98% of the rice that we consume in our country. And if we're not careful to bring people back to the farm, or no intentional agriculture policy are taken to make sure that we're able to produce right and put certain level of taxes on these exported rice and incentivize farmers to go back to the farm to produce rice, we will end up in the likes of Haiti, where they are right now. So I this is a great something we really need to, and this is why I think the current agriculture minister, I'm very hard on her, because she was producing right. They put her in there, and she just became a cricket. Nobody's hearing a thing from her. Like, you were doing this thing, producing right. We thought you were going to have creating cooperative and allow people to produce right and bring Liberia to a place where, hey, we might not get to the place where you know we're self-sufficient, but at least we're mounting up to that. But she just been cricket. Nothing we're hearing from her, and we're still doing the same thing, importing rice. And I'm glad you brought this up. And hopefully, the next whoever takes over, whether GMB or CDC, they're able to do something about this, because this is going to it's going to be a major problem in terms of budget, how much right we spend on right budget we spend on rice importation. So I'll leave
Well,
it on that.
yeah, Gabriel, I'd like for you to, since we brought a lot of size comments, I'd like for you to bring Sam Wallow. He said, without a doubt. That's the last comment, then we wrap this thing up. We can answer, we can respond to the question / give our closing comments so that we close this thing at the 1 hour and 30 minute mark. But Sam Wallow, without a doubt, VP Walker has proven to be the most consistent, trustworthy, disciplined, and honest candidate in the 2023 presidential race. Full validation achieved this week. All right. Gentlemen, I think we've had a lot of the
You want to
comments.
respond to that?
No, I don't think I want to respond to that.
Okay. All right. We have a few more time. Let's answer this one question and then we can wrap up. So, given what I was hoping we're going to dive into the economic implication of everything that's happening, but we ran out of time.
You can
Given
want
what
to
is
put that in your closing comment, that's fine.
Yeah, given what is happening right now with the endorsement, who do you think deserves to win or is going to win?
Who do you think deserve to win or is going to win? That
Right.
deserve is like, is an entitlement
You
thing
can
now?
take it from either side. Who do you think should win? Like, and the way I want you guys to look at it is,
Well, I thought you wanted to do an economic piece of the pie that we're talking about here, so we can
we
close.
don't have time now.
Well, you opening another segment. You opening another segment
No,
altogether.
that's one question. That's one question. We have few minutes. We have 10 minutes left. That's one question. You can answer that, or from
So
either
I would
link.
say that I have read comments from Saye,
Right.
who believes that CDC is going to win. Then I just read his comment. That's why I was interested that you bring the comment from Sam Wallow, who is alluding that JMB, and then some comment from Livingstone and other people who's alluding that CDC, I mean, Unity Party is going to win. From when it comes to the topic we are discussing and the vantage point that I stand on, I wouldn't want to weigh into who will win, who will not win situation.
Exactly.
I could answer the question, who is most likely to run the country better? Should that person win?
Right.
I can chime in on that, but
That's
who
what
will
I
win
said. Just do
versus
that.
who will not win? Yeah.
Maybe we need to reframe the question. So answer from that perspective. What I was trying to frame it towards is from an economics lens. I want you to not look at it from a political lens. The politics, we've talked a lot about it, but who do you think should, given what you think, you believe where we are right now, who do you think needs to be in power or is likely to be in power to transform that country? Maybe something, a little bit of stability, no
Yeah,
more fear. Right,
maybe I think Jimmy can grab that one.
right.
Oh, why are you dodging the question?
It's a hot question.
It's a hard question.
It's
No,
it's
Jimmy,
a hot
you can take
question.
a snap at it.
That is just an opinionated question. It doesn't
There
have
you
to
go.
be,
Exactly.
factual.
No,
It's
go ahead.
just
You
one's
start, then I
opinion.
will add on.
Okay, who should? That's a good question. I've seen qualities in the current administration, and I just think they never use their full potential. I think the popularity of President Weah could have gotten people to do a lot of things. He could have started so many movements. Liberia, Monrovia will be clean today if he decided that he's going to go on a campaign to clean Monrovia. I think he still commands the support of a lot of youth, and he's never used it.
Yeah.
And so he still has that potential, and that is what a lot of people still have that reservation about his being able to do something, because they know that he has a lot of influence and people love him, and with that you could do a lot of things.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the UP, I believe VP Buckeye has a lot of experience. He knows how things should be. And that's an advantage he has over the current administration. He's been in several different administrations. He knows how things should be run. He knows what the status quo should be look like. So he has the better ability to see when things are going awry, when things are going wrong, and tell somebody to straighten it out. So that is what is in his advantage. The only thing that is in his disadvantage is, will he be able to do it? He knows how. He knows what to do when it comes to meeting certain standards. But will he be able to do it? That's the first question. Will he be able to do it? And the second question is, it is one thing being in a position, going in a position where things are already established, but it's a whole other thing when you're building from scratch.
Yeah.
For where Liberia has to go now, there's a lot of building from scratch we will have to do. So he will have to draw all the resources of all those young Liberians. There's some whole lot of brilliant Liberians that he can tap off of. But we will have to do a lot of building, and he has to lead an effort to build, and that is a unique skill all by itself.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at the two.
Yeah. Alex, maybe that gives a little bit of context.
To respond to your question, and then to give my parting comment for the day, as we close down, I will first of all differ with the last comment from Jimmy. Jimmy, I continue to tell people Liberia is not starting from scratch.
Is that what?
Liberia is not starting from scratch. What Liberia lacks is effective leader, an effective president What Liberia lack is the person in the Jerry Rowland or Makafoli or Kigami. That what Liberia has been lacking and lacks today. Somebody who brings on a semblance of that can turn things around. I say that because there have been, since after the war, before the war, there have been systems developed. Otherwise, we'll not have ministries, we'll not have 3 branches of government and stuff like that. After the war, from 2005, systems were revamped, reforms were done. So when people say, oh, Liberia don't have anything, Liberia don't have anything, no. Liberia has laws. Yeah, laws are subject to improvement, laws are subject to change, but there's institutions in Liberia. We have ministries, we have agencies, sometimes which are even poorly funded or not funded at all. So how do you expect them to work? We have corruption has permeated our system such that we jump over all the procurement processes, the single budget processes, all the different processes that have been developed. Even the fight against corruption, all those establishments that have been put in place, they have been stabbed in their back. We are not allowing them to function because the leadership have lacked the political will to do that, because the leadership comes with different intention. That is why it's wrong with Liberia. Don't you think we have traffic rules in Liberia? We do. Why do you think people are driving on the other up the other side of the road when you definitely have the yellow line or the divided highway in between? Because the police are not implementing the rules. Don't you think we have traffic law in Liberia? That we need to now put traffic law in place? Liberia could be a virgin in terms of economy, in terms of days, but Liberia has system. So when I hear people say Liberia is starting from scratch, Liberia don't have anything, I beg to differ. Now, honing on the last part of this, the other part of the statement, what Liberia lacks is leadership. The person that will bring out the system to work, the person that will hold people accountable, the person that will tell the ministers, if you don't perform X, if you don't perform Y, out the door. They have plenty of qualified librarians. If you do this, you meet the full force of the law. We've seen where from January 19, between January 19 and 20 of 2018, that's when I knew Liberia Unaware was going down a slippery slope. And over the past 6 years, that judgment of mine has been correct in terms of the way the country has been going in different aspects. So I had concluded that, Joshua should go. Therefore, I started looking at, among the rest of the opposition, I started looking at United Party and the ANC. But as it appears now in this second round, with Wea and Baka, I think, like you said, I agree with you that Baka is more likely. I use more likely because there are other factors that are involved. There are other, disadvantages or risk that comes with his presidency as well. But the risk that the country will go downwards unaware is higher than that of Baka. So I think Baka comes with maturity, Baka comes with honesty, Baka comes with the problem. But your question is, I wonder how he would do it. And once he put the right people in place, once he hold them accountable, I'm sure he can do it. But I think among the 2 persons, now that we have only 2 persons in the race, I think, Baka is the better person. Will he win? That's another thing. Will we win? That's another thing.
Rightly said. Jimmy. You're muted, Jim.
Well, Alex, I mean, you have a good admirer. Alex Emmanuel Jackson said Alex is brilliant, so he really appreciates your analysis. Yeah, just like we said, there's a toss up, and I always said we rolling the dice when it comes to some, and it's unfortunate when it comes to the other. So the where we are now, we have to just wait and tell. Gabriel, time will tell.
Yeah. Um, for me, I to answer. I don't know if I want to answer that question because I have no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, you're forcing other people to answer the question that you say you plead
No,
the
because
fifth.
you have to admit it's not that I don't want to answer. It's just that I don't know what those endorsements that are being made, what type of sway they have with the voters, and what percentages of voters will end up going those with those endorsements and end up, tipping the scale to in either candidate's favor. So I don't want to, I think this election is there for the win. I don't think anyone has an advantage. Um, Now, if you were to ask me who I think could bring level of stability to the country than we have right now, I would say maybe Boyka is able to do that. But again, you know that remains to be seen. We said the same thing about former President Ellen. The economy was going down the hill before. Uh, CDC took over, and the last term there was whole lot of things that was being done. So it's 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 right now it's up for the win. Any of these candidates can take it, and I don't see anybody having an advantage in terms of uh, these endorsement favoring them. And you know if I were them, if I were in any of their camp, I would still be putting my feet to the pavement and still clunkering down, be knocking on people's door for endorsement and making sure that when you endorse me, you're not just saying that in like you fully make a statement and you urge your voters to come and support me as opposed to what we've been seeing so far and where you want the hair go here, the tail go here, the half go here. Like you have to, if somebody's supporting you, make them make a statement, not just them supporting you, but urge their voters to support you as well. That's how you do endorsement. But the one we've been doing is it seems as if we're doing it in shame. Um, so I don't know which way it's going to go. So um, I would leave it on that note.
No,
I
but
do.
Gabriel,
I do know.
you answered the question.
Yeah.
The question is who is most likely
Right.
to take the country forward, and you say is Buakai. So
Yeah. So
that was the question we're answering
right.
between Wea and Buakai. Now that only two of them in the race, and we all agree on this platform that is Buakai who will move the country forward as
Yeah.
compared.
I think for me the reason why I said it because there's like unless you've been blind, like you should not be living in your own country and you have a curfew. Like people just living like immoral in Liberia as if nobody have to tell you about between a certain time you have to be home. That's how risky it is. Nobody tell you it's just a given. Like that is not a country you want to live in. That's not a country you want to live in. What the president tell you, hey, for your security, you better get your own CC camera. Like so why we put you in power? That should be your first priority. As a president, your biggest responsibility, the safety and security of your citizens in that country. That is your number one responsibility. So the fact that he made that statement and this self-imposed curfew that is in that country, it makes bring somebody there who can make it safer and gradually, even if we don't have the international people coming in giving us money, you will have well-meaning Liberian being safe to go back and invest in our country. So um, again, but in terms of whether he is doing the right, Mr. Boyka is doing the right thing to really get those endorsements in his favor, that is yet to be seen. So that's why I say it is all for the open, it's all for the taking. Seriously. Um,
Yes, thank you,
but
gentlemen. Thank you to
I
all
tip my hat
our
on that. Yeah.
thank you to all our participants here today. Some beautiful comments. Thank you to all our viewers, the people who are viewing. get and stay, whether they're by Facebook or by YouTube. And those who will view later on. And thank you for all your comments. We're doing elections right now. And then when the whole election thing is finished, going out to 2024, we'll spring back into our economic, business, and finance mood.
Yeah.
But thank you for today. And we'll come back on Saturday and continue on this path.
Yep. And as we always like to say, regardless of what you think, what based on the comments we made here, which side you think, which eye of the political spectrum you think we're on. As we say at the beginning, you have to be able to look at people objectively, look at their idea objectively, and at the end of the day, you have to just know the fact that we're all Liberians and we'll all remain that. So from that fundamental standpoint, that's how you should look at people, And we will leave you with that song that says that regardless of what political party you're on, we're all Liberian. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Ciao.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are Liberian.